Hello, I'm back. I've been back for about a week now, actually. So the last concert was in Puerto Rico on a Thursday. Friday, I was going to do touristy things, but I didn't because it was going to rain. And, you know, I'd been to Puerto Rico the year before with my kids. So I just sort of hung out in my room, worked on my vlog, did stuff on my computer that I'd been meaning to catch up on. Avoided storms, went out to eat at some local places, and just relaxed. I know I thought I could have gone out, but you know what? It was hot as Hades out there, and I did not want to go be a tourist in that heat. I'd spent a lot of time in the heat on this trip already, so decided no. And then it was also good I did not fly home the day after the concert, because that was the day of the Windows computer crash. I already forgot what it was called, but all the flights were messed up. I flew home on Saturday. And I flew from Puerto Rico back to New York City where my car was. And then it takes about 2 to 3 hours to drive from New York City back to where I live in Connecticut. So I got home last Saturday night. I spent a couple days doing things like putting my car back in order, laundry. And then I had a couple days this week where I spent going through all the memorabilia that I bought or picked up at the concerts. And one of the things I left in my car is if you are a K-pop muggle and you don't know anything about K-pop, it's customary for fans to bring freebies to the shows, stickers, photo cards, a lot of bracelets and key rings, like the colorful beads with like the letters, and they'll ask you who's your favorite or who's your bias, and then they've made a bracelet with their name on it and you get a bracelet. I would, like, after I get them at the shows, I'd have them on my wrist, and then I'd get back to the car and put my hand on the gear shifter and just like, so my gear shifter is all decorated, and it's a nice little reminder of the trip, because the post-concert depression, PCD, is very real. I miss A.C.E. I miss concerts. I miss traveling. I miss all of it. I mean, of course I missed my kids when I was gone. I came home to the condo's still standing, the kids are fine, the cats are fine, there's one sitting next to me. But I just miss it. And A.C.E is still in the United States. They're going to be performing tomorrow night in LA at a something called K-Con, like Korean convention, I guess is what it stands for. It's in LA. I couldn't justify flying back there. They're going to do a handful of songs. They've been doing a pop-up. I've been watching the videos on Twitter, and it all looks fabulous and fun, and I am jealous, but I knew there was no way I could like stay gone another week or come home and then fly back again. Like, that's just too much. Especially because a lot of the flights that I used on this trip were things like I had a voucher, or I had credits left from the pandemic, or just various sundry things. I bought super cheap tickets. The good news is A.C.E is gonna put out new music soon, so that I have that to look forward to. And I know they're going, I think in October, in November, or at least South America and Europe. And as much as I would love to, I can't. Yeah, that's hard because I work in a school, and school's very much in session then, so it's hard to just breeze away for a week. But if they come to Canada, they mentioned they might come to Canada, I can go to Canada. I've gone to Canada before. I've seen them in Canada three times. So I'm home. I'm sad for missing all that. I'm happy to see my kids. But the adult life was waiting for me, and it's just, I'm so exhausted already from thinking about all the adulting I have to do. But I wanted to make this video to talk about things that happened at the concerts or my travels that I didn't maybe talk about before. Just trying to keep living the memories and keep living the concert experience and all the happy thoughts. Like I said, the last couple days I've been going through photo cards. Like every time I did a VIP package where, you know, I get the picture taken or do the high touch or whatever, you get photo cards. When I did the fan signs, I got photo cards. I think like Pokemon cards for those of you who don't know about K-pop, but with members with each person's face on it, and they have different poses. And so been sorting through all that and all the free things that people gave me, and I have a binder, and maybe I'll insert the footage here. banners, which are like things you hold up at the concerts. There's a couple I didn't get. That's one of my regrets trip, is not being able to interact more with the fans ahead of time, because I made freebies too. I made little buttons, like 1.25" buttons, like one for each city, because I hate if somebody has something free to give me. I hate not being able to reciprocate, but I also knew that I'm traveling to 14 concerts and I couldn't like make a whole bunch, so I made like 20 for each city. But it was hot, and some days I was really tired from traveling, and the concert started at 7:30 and the doors opened at 6. So in my brain I went, I'll just get there at 7 because I can just get in and find my seat, say hello to a few people, and not stand out in this freakish heat, because the people who were trading a lot of freebies and giving out the banners are like, I'll be there at 3, which is when check-in would start for the VIP packages. I'll be there at 3, giving out free. I'm like, I am not gonna stay outside for 3 hours, because I don't care what city it was in. It was hot everywhere this summer. I mean, yes, some places, Phoenix was definitely like hot, and Florida was hot, and Houston, like southern states were a different kind of hot, but it was hot everywhere. And I didn't want to stand outside freebies as much as I wanted freebies and to meet other choice that way. It was not happening. So, but I did want to talk about the things, other things that were fun and good and positive. The first one being, there was some stuff that happened in LA that was kind of cool that I don't think I talked about in my vlog. So I mentioned in LA that I stayed in, it was a boutique kind of a hotel. It was kind of actually very fancy, but it had hostel rooms, Hostel, kind of like hotel, but hostel. It was a room with 4 beds, like 2 bunk beds on either side, and we all shared a bathroom. And most of the time, situations like that, you might get a little chatty, but also like you don't say too much because you don't want to bother the other people. Some people are sleeping while other people are awake. But one of the days, it was the afternoon, and I was sitting there, I forget what I was doing, but I look across from me, and the young lady there has a clear fanny pack. And if you've been to any concerts in the last decade or so, you know that a lot of venues have very strict bag restrictions. Like, it has, for women, you have to have a teeny tiny purse, and if it's not a teeny tiny purse, you have to have a clear bag. So I look across from me, and the young lady has a clear fanny pack on. I'm like, clue number 1. And then I look, and hanging from her fanny pack are like key rings that look like the bracelets that people give out. And I need reading glasses, so I couldn't quite read what it was, but I had a clue. I'm like checking it out, and I'm like, finally, I'm just like, are you here to see Ace? And she said, yes. I was like, oh my God, like, how cool is that? That of all the stuff in the world, like, I'm from Connecticut. I think she was from Washington State, or somewhere on the West Coast. And we're both fly to LA to go see the same concert and end up in the same room. How cool was that? And then it turns out she was also going to the fan sign, which is the thing where I went to, where you sit across from each member at a table and have them sign. And it was both our first time going to one of those, and we were both kind of clueless about stuff. We were the last ones there. We took a subway together and walked. We're like, it'll be fine, we'll walk. Oh my God, we should not have walked. I was so late. So yeah, went to the fan sign together, and it was a cute story that I didn't tell before, I don't think. So we're leaving the fan sign. They finish, the group finishes, and instead of like leaving the store, they sort of like walk off into a back room. I don't know what they do back there, but they go into a back room. And so all of us get up and we walk, and I come outside, and everybody's standing there outside. I'm like, oh, this is what we do? We stand outside? Okay, so we'll stand outside. What are we doing here? And so we're waiting for the group to leave so we can wave goodbye to them and wish them well and see them one more time before they go. So I'm like, okay. So I stand there, and then the wave, the group goes, and they go across the way, and they go through the food court to the bathrooms. Fine. So we're like, okay, let's go back to our hotel now, my roomie and I. So, and it's, the fan sign was on the 2nd floor of the mall. We have to go down to the 1st floor to get to the street level to get our Uber, because we decided we are not walking again. So we're like, all right, so we go, and we start walking down the stairs. Who comes out of the bathrooms and the food court area at the same time? Ace and their staff, and they're behind us. And I'm like, oh, good God, I can be kind of clumsy sometimes. I'm like, please don't fall. So the whole time, they probably didn't even care who was, they probably did not even see us. But in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, please don't fall. Please don't fall. And I'm like, don't see me. Like, did not want to exist. Did not want to exist. How old am I? I have no idea, but I apparently turned into a blubbering adolescent. Also, blubbering adolescent moment was during the fan sign. I don't know if I mentioned this before. How do I describe this? I know a lot of Choice and fans will call A.C.E or any K-pop group, they'll be like, those are my boys or my babies. That kind of is not my vibe. I tend to think of most of them, because they're around 30 years old, A.C.E is between 27 and 31 years old, US age. I think I'm mathing right. And you know what? I've got lots of former students who are that age, and when they were my students, I think of my kids like as my students, not my kids. I have biological kids, not the same thing, but I will sometimes talk about students like my kids. So, I have students, God, some of my first students are probably like 40 now. Just going to go again. Because, that freaks me out. But anyway, so most of A.C.E I can sort of talk to easily and chit chat and whatever, because I think of them like my kids, like student kids, like graduated students. I've watched them grow up, because I kind of have watched them grow up and turn into what they are today and follow along, just like I would with former students who I keep in touch with. So the fan sign is fine. Although I will say, I did not know my mouth could be as dry as it was during the fan sign. Oh my God. You know, like when you're at the dentist and they put that thing in your mouth to like suck all the air out, or they blast you with air before they do something to dry your mouth out? Like that. But for like 9 minutes straight, and I like no relief, no spritz of water to like refresh. Dying Sahara, and it was the worst when I sat in front of my bias, my favorite member. His name's Donghoon. Anyway, I didn't know what to do. Everybody was writing questions and like, draw me a picture of this, and I'm just like, hi, nice to meet you. I don't have any questions for you. So it's very clear that they've been trained to sort of help fans through nervous, or they've picked up on ways how to help move things along when the person sitting across from them is very nervous. So Donghoon says, oh, you've got purple makeup on. Is that your favorite color? I'm like, yes. And then I try to awkwardly like show that I've got purple in my hair, which you can't see right now anyway. Ooh, gotta get that redone. It looks blue. I'm like, yeah, favorite color. So he says, is WoW your bias? And WoW's sitting next to him, and he sort of points next to him. I'm like, no, I just like purple. Because in K-pop, most time members have an associated color with them. I don't know where it came from. It's just a thing. I've just accepted it, moved on. And Donghoon's color is blue. WoW's color is purple. But, it's my hair. It's my makeup. I don't wear things for other people's favorites. So it's like, that's my favorite. So he says, is WoW your bias? And I'm like, no. And I swear to God, he must have asked, who is your bias? Because the next thing I know, I'm pointing at him. I don't think I would have said that on my own. I don't think it would have been like, you're my bias. Like, he says, so who's your bias? And I'm like, And at that point, I want to be like, I don't exist anymore. Oh. But I was there. My cat's looking at me. Very sad. Sorry. Yeah. And that's my adolescent moment of panic too. And my mouth may have gotten even drier at that point. Like, so yeah. That was something that happened that I don't think I mentioned before. Other thing that happened in LA. All right. So I chose this boutique hostel because it was near the concert venue. I didn't want to have to Uber everywhere. I wanted to just get from the airport to the hotel and be able to walk to the concert venue. So that was a priority. So I'm staying near the venue. But apparently A.C.E also stayed near his venues when he was on tour, because I'm, while walking around, I noticed that the places where they took selfies the morning after they arrived are the same places that I'm walking past when I'm going out to look for dinner. And I'm going to find a drugstore because for the fan sign I need sticky notes, and I did not know I needed sticky notes. So I'm like, oh, there's a CVS and Walgreens. So I try CVS. I'm like, I don't like their sticky notes. Let me go try the Walgreens. It's the same Walgreens that Donghoon took a picture in front of earlier that day. I'm like, oh crap. And then Yangquan took pictures next to a Chipotle with a sign for a building, and there was that too. So like, just a few blocks away. So like every time I went out, then from that point on, while I was in LA for those 2 days, it would be like, I didn't pack my sunglasses. I should have had sunglasses. That would have been cool. They were in my car. I forgot to bring them to LA. I did not run into them in any restaurants. If I did, I would have been like, again, sorry, cat. Thank you very much for watching. I would try to, let's see if we can, oh, there's the kitty. Say hello, hello. This, but thank you for watching if you did. I wouldn't have blamed you if you like ran this double speed or something like that too. Anyway, I guess this is it.